everybody to your next session of Fearapy session. I'm your host, Pamela.
And I'm Dominique.
We're so happy that you joined us. Today, we are going to be talking about Black directors, Black actors, Black individuals. Why? Because it's Black History Month.
It's
Now, that
Black
doesn't mean,
history
it doesn't mean we don't love and appreciate them all year now.
all year.
All year. Their movies are amazing all year. But we just want to educate you because it's Black History Month, right? So today we're going to go down a couple of different areas when it comes to Black films, including directors, the
Mhm.
actors, who made it, who the production companies, people who should get their flowers right now. We're going to give a moment to give our, rest in peace to some of the people we've lost who
Yes.
were very meaningful in this particular area. But first, as always, we want to give you a
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Now, some of these, and if you haven't, I'm questioning if you're really horror
What
fans.
like y'all really should have seen. We say this a lot, but y'all should have seen.
Yes, get on it. If you haven't seen it, stop now. Come back later. We'll be here.
There's a couple on here like we really had no business watching them when they first came out,
Yeah,
but we
man.
saw them and everybody should have seen.
I was 5. Okay, I was like 5 watching some of these. Okay, and I don't know why.
Listen,
I don't know why, but I was.
listen.
So definitely stop now. Come back later if you haven't seen them. Some of them are new, so definitely spoiler alert for that. If you haven't seen them, definitely check them out. But before we jump into those new ones, we got to go to the class.
Are important folks. And so when a lot of people think about horror films and they think about their main folks, they're thinking about the Boris Karloffs and the Vincent Price, right? And that's not to take anything away from what they did to the early horror genre. However, you can't have that conversation and not talk about Dwayne Jones. You just can't. And so for those of you who don't know, Dwayne Jones is the main character or was the main character in the 1968 Night of the Living Dead. He is the one who made it until the end, but racism would not allow him to
Nope.
survive.
Literally.
Literally
It,
racism.
and I want to say when I watched this as a little girl, I was like, "What?" Like he made it to the whole. He done saved everybody. He done did everything he's supposed to do, and then he still got shot.
They couldn't let that black man have that hero moment.
They could, but you want to know what? It's only one redeemable moment that made that be like, okay, when he smacked
Oh,
that moment when
when he smacked her until last week.
he did, and
Mm-hmm.
that even in real life during this time, a
Mm-hmm.
black man laying hands on a white woman is like a death sentence, right?
Yeah.
But in that moment, he did what he had to do to keep her under control because she was just hysterical, and he
Mm-hmm.
smacked her, and it brought her back to reality. Now
Mm-hmm.
he still helped take care of her and make sure she was safe, so it's not like he just smacked her and threw her outside to the zombies. But this movie, it told you everything you need to know about our society.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And so from there, we've had more folks acting in horror films. You know, Pam Grier in Black Sunday. We always have to find a way to talk about Pam
Oh
Grier.
yeah,
Baddie, one of the
yeah,
original baddies. But there were a lot of us in there, and like we'll talk about stereotypes later, but we were kind of relegated to being stereotypical in those
yeah.
movies. And so it's nice to see movies where we weren't, like in Night of the Living Dead. And so also looking at some of the earliest films that featured black characters, you had Ganja and Hess in 1973, which was directed by Bill Gunn. And so this particular movie redefined the vampire genre and gave audience an unsettling yet thoughtful examination of addiction and desire. And so this was the one we couldn't think of
Mm-hmm.
before Black.
Okay, okay.
Remember we were having that conversation, we were
Yeah,
talking about vampires, and we were like, there's something else that's missing. It had to be this one.
yeah, it had to be. And but was this during the black exploitation kind
It
of era?
yes, it was during black exploitation for sure.
So Pam Grier, she fell right into that moment.
Yes.
Now I will say she has actually been on a couple of other horror movies. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's been on a couple of zombie ones, and she was definitely in Ghost of Mars.
Yep.
It
There's
I
another
consider
one
that
recently too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she's still out here working. Okay,
Scream Queen
give her
for
flowers.
sure.
She is definitely out here representing. So she's the classic, but also present day too.
Mm.
After the classic, let's jump straight into talking about directors because there are some notable directors. It's not so much. It's a few of them because they haven't got the opportunity, not because they're gatekeeping. It's because these are the people who have rose to the top, right? And so when I think about black directors, the first one presently I come across is Jordan Peele. because he is
Absolutely.
being very authentic in the way he does his movies. So the Get Outs, the Us. I think
Mhm.
that he has a couple of other ones that's come across. He's done a couple of actual. I think he started hosting.
He did. He brought back Twilight Zone, and unfortunately, it didn't last as long as
Yeah,
it
they
should
were
have. And
good though.
I hope it comes back. And he did Twilight Zone justice
He did.
because of the real reason that Rod Sterling even started Twilight Zone. And
Hmm.
so I'm not surprised, but I'm also surprised that
Yeah.
it didn't
But
last.
in the true Jordan Peele fashion, Twilight Zone is kind of a social justice type of show too. Cause
It
every now and then
is.
they would sneak in something to show you how people respond, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
if the tables were turned type thing. So I loved him because of that, with Twilight Zone. But even in Get Out and Us,
Mm-hmm.
he pushes the boundaries. He talks
He really
about
does.
race. He talks about classism. He talks about those things, and that's really important to be a director because you don't just when you want to represent your people and let it
Yes.
get out there. And I think stuff like Get Out, no other director would have ever.
And there was just this moment. It was such a black experience to watch this
Mm-hmm.
movie because we were literally in there like, "Oh, what you doing?"
And you a meme with me stirring tea,
Right.
Get Out, right?
Right.
Or the no, 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 no,
No,
no,
no,
no, no, no, no, no. It created
no.
a whole new thing.
Or
So
running full speed at you and then veering off at the last second.
I didn't know somebody running at you could be so scary. And I think we talked about this in another episode, but we're so used to people just walking slow. So
Hmm.
when you speed up, it's like, oh, hold on.
Right,
What's
right.
going
And
on?
that,
But it's such a deep. Get Out is deep. The people who don't like it, typically it went over.
mm-hmm,
Get Out, us, being about, there being a doppelganger of yourself,
mm-hmm.
experiments being done, that it goes deep. And so I love that deepness of Jordan Peele. But even before Jordan Peele, you had other directors like Nia DaCosta, who did the franchise Candyman, and you also had other directors. But I wanted to really point out Candyman because Tony Todd,
Right.
of course, he just was amazing, and we'll talk a little more about him later. But because you did mention the classic, he was in the remake
Mm-hmm.
of Night of the Living Dead, who also I don't remember if he had the same fate as the original character in Night of the Living Dead.
Remember either.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I know the original character was shot. I'm not sure if Tony Todd was shot as well, but if someone in our audience knows the answer to that, please let us know. But we'll talk a little bit about him because he deserves, more honorable mention towards
Absolutely.
the end. But the final director and producer I wanted to talk about was Rusty Cadiff, which I may be pronouncing that wrong. Please correct me if I am. This is the producer of Tales from the Hood, who was it was produced by Spike Lee's 40 Acres and a Mule, which is very important for Black History Month because my 40 acres.
Listen,
Nonetheless, you keep the mule, give me,
I just want my acres.
just give me my acres. But very notable production company. This was an amazing movie. So Tales from the
Incredible.
Hood.
It was
Yeah.
an anthology. It was a
Hmm.
black horror anthology, and it had a message again. So this was 95 during the times where we were getting some of those more
Hmm.
stereotypical roles or depictions of black folks in movies, and this one touched on major issues for Black
Yes.
Americans at the time,
It
and
was
so
really for us.
it truly was. It truly was for us. And so, you have this anthology that touched on three main areas that Black Americans have been dealing with forever. The first one was police brutality and setup. And there was a revenge in that one, which was lovely.
Hmm.
The second one was about domestic violence and child abuse.
Yes.
And then the third one was, while they say it focuses mainly on gang violence, which it does, there was still a component of discussing this idea of black violence or violence within the black community
Yeah.
as a
And
whole, and
why
what
it happened.
happens and kind of the
Yeah.
responsibility, where the responsibility lies.
Yeah.
And so the message was heavy in this movie, and it was so good. It was kind of, had Joe Torre in it.
Yes.
He's a comedian.
They kept it light, right?
They
They
did.
kept it
Oh, and
very
David
light.
Allen Greer was in it.
Yes.
They had some heavy hitters in this movie,
Hmm.
and they did an incredible job.
Yeah. And it's definitely we talked a little about a bit earlier if this would be considered as a what's the word? Kind of like a satire.
Yeah, a spoof.
a spoof. This is not.
Mm-mm.
It's not on the same level as some of those other.
And this is real.
It's real. So
Mm-hmm.
there's scary moments. It was some very serious moments, even though there were some light, maybe funny moments. Especially, I mean, Nick dolls.
Listen, oh, that's the part that I forgot
Yes,
about. So,
yes,
like reparations and
yes.
the whole incident with the former Klan guy that felt a little too real right now.
The old and
And the dog, the boo and the dogs coming back and the nigga. Listen,
I'm just saying, if somebody wants to send a portrait or dolls to our
to
administration now, please, I'll put in on it. So yes, because it's real. I think that was my favorite one in the
yes,
anthology. Probably was the
yes,
dolls.
it,
Very.
yeah.
If you haven't seen it, please watch it.
It re-
Please watch it.
and it reminds me of the video that's going around on social media right now with the ventriloquist doll that's trying to kill people, and they're like thwarting everything that he does, and they're just like, "Come on, man!"
I
And I'm
think
like, "This
somebody said it
doll,
too about Annabelle. Annabelle was on tour,
yes."
and they were like, "Can somebody send Annabelle to DC, please?" So nonetheless, it's something in there for everybody. There is a
Mm-hmm.
part two to this. It was good. It was decent. It of course didn't have nothing on the original, but
Nothing.
please still support that one too. This is from written, produced by our folks, so definitely
Mm-hmm.
want to give that support.
Yeah.
Now we've mentioned stereotypes a couple times. So you want to go down this rabbit hole of stereotypes in horror movies for Black people?
Ghetto and uneducated and poor a lot of times and irresponsible. The first to die.
The first, like, and I love it when people call it out. You remember
Mm-hmm.
in one of the screams
Yeah.
when Dwayne Martin, I think, was like, "Yeah, your last reporter died. Your last cameraman died. I'm
Right.
out of here." Right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
like
But
people
then
catch on.
Jada ended up being the very first one to die,
Well,
and
actually,
the next
second because I
was
think
she
Omar died before her. She
did
was,
he die first in that
yeah,
one?
Omar got stabbed in the ear on screen in the bathroom, and then Jada died in front of everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and hers was just in front of everybody during the
Mm-hmm.
movie. But yeah, so that's
Yeah,
one of the
because he
things.
dressed up like him. When he
Yep.
came back to the sea, he had a mask on like
Mhm.
he was Omar.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so a perfect example, we go first,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
that was just traditionally we end up being the people who either sacrifice
Mm,
ourselves for everybody
mm,
or we just randomly just go first.
yep.
And yeah,
Or we are involved with voodoo, hoodoo, or some kind of
witchcraft of some kind.
yeah, yeah, doing the roots and the spirits and
Hmm.
stuff, which is probably why most people think it's bad, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
not. It's
Anyway,
that's yeah. We'll get
um,
into the hoodoo is not
right,
bad.
right,
Uh,
or the help of some kind.
yeah,
Yeah, because even Rod Digger was the babysitter.
yep, she was the nanny, 100%.
So,
And to your point, I like it when we see that kind of the more from Black people in
mhm,
these where they're more than just the help or it's
mhm,
showing them being the smart ones. Like, hey, I think we should do this, which is why I think we should definitely mention the blackening. So if you
yes,
haven't seen that, they pretty much fight against everything that's the stereotypes of Black movies by having a group of Black people together in the woods, which is kind of
either
it's kind of off, you
it
know.
it would be nice to like feel
Mhm.
comfortable enough to go enjoy a cabin in the woods without being worried about all of the things
All of the things.
that could possibly.
But they still fell into a bad place and had to like prove their blackness, I guess, in the
Yeah,
blackening. That's what it
yeah.
ended up being about playing a board game. That they had to answer certain Black questions, and then whoever
Mhm.
was the blackest, I guess, was the winner. So definitely amazing movie. Watch it. It's one of those movies
Mhm.
that I can. It's kind of like it's my 2020 Jason versus Freddy. I can watch that over and over, and I can
Mhm.
watch the blackening because it's hilarious but it has me like, dang it, that's real. Like
Right.
it's some real stuff in there.
And
Definitely
yeah.
watch it.
And let's stop questioning people's blackness.
Yeah,
I mean, there are certain things that you should
it's a
absolutely get
spectrum.
your black card taken
Mhm.
for, but
It's a spectrum to
but
us.
there, yes, we are not a monolith.
I'm
Okay.
not
Okay,
sitting down
cool.
at a table. I give you a good Uno game,
Oh,
maybe a
absolutely.
little.
Cutthroat.
But spades, I'm going to
Mhm.
renege. And so I'm not gonna sit down. So you can take my card on that one too. Scary when I play spades. So yes. But I 100% agree. And this movie shows you the scary part is that they are being judged by their blackness. And so
Yeah.
that's what the killer's point is. And of course, don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it. That one's fairly new.
Yes.
So check it out. It's a who's the who done it. Love a good who done it. So
And it's
definitely
all
check
over
that
the
one out.
place.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But you don't know who's gonna go first because they're all black.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. So definitely check that out. Next, let's talk a little bit about if we had to round out our Scream kings or queens, people who maybe the top two of people who are in some movies should
Mm-hmm.
give kind of homage to them. Who would they be?
It's gonna be Tony Todd and Jordan
I agree with
at this
that.
point.
I think they running stuff right now.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan is running stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tony was in a
Rest in peace.
rest in peace. Can we just for 1 second just talk about his final performance in Final Destination? Why I cried? I had to pause the movie and I cried. That was the best part of the movie to me. Like farewell. That
Mm-hmm.
it just
Mm-hmm.
touched me. But he goes all the way. Candyman, Final Destination, back to Night of the Living Dead, and he has so many random pop ups.
Yep.
Throughout the horror genre in general, but he definitely did not get the flowers he deserved while he was here with us.
Right.
And
Because
so,
let's
yeah,
be honest, when you hear Candyman, you're not thinking about the one that just came out.
no,
And the one that just came out is an excellent
it's
movie.
excellent.
It's very good. But you thinking about Tony.
The original, that's right, definitely. So he should definitely be at the top for our Scream King. And
Mm-hmm.
Jordan is he making moves, and
Yes.
I'm looking. If I see his name on it, I'm going to see
Gonna
it.
watch it. I
Yeah.
have his book. I need to read it, and it's like a Black horror book, but I do
That's an
have it.
anthology book. I have that one too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have to do a session on that one. So if you
Yes.
hadn't heard about that one, definitely look that up too. So but it seems like he's not gatekeeping. He's bringing other
Mhm.
writers, other
Mhm.
minority people into the fold too, because we need to hear everybody's story. We can't. How many times can we hear about a slasher in the woods or in a cabin? We need some new
Places we
stuff.
not
Places we not going, and it will be a 5 minute movie
right.
if we were there.
So he's putting us
Yes,
places where we
notable.
absolutely
Yes.
belong, but also keeping us out of places that
We're not going. We're not doing that. We're not gonna do it. Like, why were you there anyway? So that's how we wrap up for the Scream Kings.
Mhm.
If you can think of any Scream Queens that we should make notable in our community, put that in the chat because definitely we want to make sure we
Yeah.
give them their credit too.
The criteria is that they had to be in multiple
In or
movies.
wrote.
In or wrote multiple movies.
Yes.
Or directed or produced or whatever.
Yeah, so if there's some people you need to, you know what? I did think of what's his last? His last name is Muniz. What's his name? He was on when we said multiple. He was on Return of the Living Dead and Jason. Um, Emmanuel Mun. He had like the Jerry curl. What's his last name, y'all? It's like it's Muniz. He just did an interview recently. I know his mom passed, and he was in
We'll find it.
he was the only black male in Return of the Living Dead. He's alive.
Yeah.
I think it's Emmanuel Muniz. I am pretty sure that is his name.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna figure it out. If you guys know it, put it in the chat. But I think he deserved. He was in at least 2 or 3 horror
Okay.
movies, and so we're gonna put him on that list too. And if we missed anybody, let us know. We do want to chat about real quick just the final characters because even though we're normally the first to go, there's a couple, and I think it's a theme going. Let's see if y'all know what the theme is before we go. So number 1, Bust the Bust. This one is Halloween. He
Yep.
whooped Michael butt.
He did.
Like
He
straight
did.
Wu Tang Kung Fu.
He did.
Michael, okay?
Yep.
And made it. Now granted we had to lose Tyra, some
Yeah.
other folks, but Busta made it.
Busta made it.
So that's one. Our second one,
Ladies Love.
he gets 2. He got 2 of them. That he
Yeah.
made it.
So he made it through Deep Blue Sea and Halloween. Was that H2O?
He
So
did some dumb stuff in H2O, but
I
he
mean,
made
some
it.
dumb stuff. Okay. And then we talked about her already.
Yes, Rod Digger is our next one. She was the
I
nanny.
need to see her in more movies.
I really right. Where you go, Rod Digger?
Mhm.
She was the nanny in 13 Ghosts, but she
Mhm.
was like whooping butt, taking names and cussing, going off on
Mhm.
everybody. And she's like, y'all don't pay me enough for this, okay?
And she got the last word in that movie because
She
that's
did.
exactly what she
She
said. I
did.
quit.
And if you get the thing for that, evidently at some point in the 90s or late 90s, you had to be a rapper to be the last person, I guess. I guess that was the thing.
Mhm.
But there are 2 more that we can kind of count.
Well, I mean, you can throw them into the same category
Yeah,
too because now we got
oh, yeah.
Brandy from I Know What You Did Last Summer, singer, and then Kiki Palmer.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, and I guess because they are
musicians.
technically musicians, yeah. So
Listen, they must have wrote that in their contract. They were like, "We're not about to die.
I'm not dying."
No.
So that's what we got, y'all.
If we missing anything or anybody or any movies that we absolutely needed to talk about, let us know. I'm gonna go ahead and say, please don't come at us with scary movie, because we're
It's not
not
the
doing
same.
spoofs or satires. We're talking true horror, and that's not to take anything away from scary movie or the
The
franchise or the
Wayans
Wayans
family's
family.
amazing.
I mean, they're good,
Yes, they are
right?
amazing.
Listen, they're the reason that we got Super Bowl halftime shows now.
Mhm,
So
mhm. Yeah, very true. If you don't
it,
know, look that up,
look it
okay?
up.
And 100%, and don't just support Black movies all year. Don't do it just Black History Month. There are a lot of them. There are some of the movies, they're not exactly horror, but if you think
Right.
about stuff like Antebellum, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's scary to
That
me.
is.
As a Black
That
woman,
feels
that
like
one
a
is a
horror
horror
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the one? The country. It was a show. It was a horror Black show based on horror Black stuff, and they took it off. I think Majors was on it.
You're talking about Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And they that
Support that.
there is absolutely no reason that that show shouldn't have been successful.
It
And
should have.
this is why folks need to watch all the movies,
That's right.
right? Like if you do not identify as black, that does not mean that you can't watch these movies. That does not mean that these movies are not for you. They may
That's
not be
right.
about you, but that doesn't mean that the movies aren't for you and that you're
Mhm.
not going to get something out of it. Like our films deserve to last and have
Yes.
longevity that we're typically not used to. And so that's why a lot of us are really holding on to Jordan Peele
Mhm.
so tightly because he is showing that sense of yeah. So if you haven't seen some of the movies that we've talked about, go
Yeah.
watch them.
Watch them. Don't just look at Rotten Tomato or get
No,
the look.
the
Judge it for
reviews are
yourself.
gonna seem rough, but I
Yes.
promise you,
Yeah.
um, they they deserve a watch.
And remember, some of our favorite slasher movies had bad ratings, but they're cult classics now.
Sure enough.
So check them out for yourself. As always, thank you for joining us. You want to
Thank
tell them where they can check us out at?
Yes, so you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. All
So I hope you would follow us. Join us on some of those social media platforms. But
yes.
until next
Tell your
time, yes, look forward to you at our next session.
yes.
Until next time.